we're going out to spread some fertilizer. I'm in the Tarrigator. I'm going to our furthest west field. Only going to do about 120 acres, so this is a quicker road travel. I can do just about 40 miles an hour. So, of course, I'm 5 minutes from the farm and it's raining. We're just spreading urea, doing 120 pounds of actual N. Urea is 46% nitrogen. So 264 pounds. They probably don't care to know this, but anyways, I'm putting 264 pounds of actual urea out on the ground per acre. That'll give us 120 units of N per acre. And then we come back with our other fertilizer programs like starter, 28% as a carrier with spraying, just to give that crop a little more nitrogen. Yeah, so I got to remember how to run this thing. I didn't run it at all last fall because we had the Pro Force for spreading P and K in the fall. So there's going to be some road bumps. But I'm driving into a weather misfortune here, so I don't know what's going to happen. Mother Nature. We're spreading. Had a lot of hiccups. The AutoTrack satellite, they lost the satellite or they shut it down or it got shot down, I don't know. So we had to change the AutoTrack, that's not working. Couldn't get the pony motor on the fertilizer tender running. Not really sure why it's running now. We're not shutting it off for the rest of the day. So we're spreading out on a very cut up field. I gotta go. Time to turn. Okay, so like I said, I'm spreading urea. That sits behind me in an 8-ton box. We use a Viper Pro screen. It's an old Raven screen. Like when you call the techs and say you need help with something on it, and you tell them you're running a Viper Pro, and they go, "Wow, that's old." Yeah, it's old. Putting down 264 pounds an acre, like I said earlier. So things are working. After I do the whole load on the semi, we can then calibrate. That is the part I miss about the Pro Force, the big spreader, spinner spreader we used last fall. That thing you can calibrate every 10 acres or 5 acres or every 300 feet, no matter what you want to do. It had its own scale, so it had its own scale. This one does not, so I have to spread the entire load from the semi. We know what the co-op gave us, so once I spread out that full load and I know what I covered, then you can calibrate. There's no other way to do it, unless you have scale. So, anyways, Randy is on his way here too. I think he's going to try to dig this a little bit behind me. It's a little wet behind the ears, but we'll try. Okay, Steve is heading out. We have emptied this semi. This field is not going to need all of what that load was. We just didn't want to cut it short. So I'm going to have to find another field to spread it out in to then know if I'm calibrated or not. And I don't know if we have another field ready, so that'll be for a later time. But let's go finish this field.
You're going to go get your planter.
I imagine.
What's that mean? Does that mean we're going to send it?
Today's the day
That we're going to get something stuck?
that I don't like. The first day of anything. And the last day of something.
What's
Good
wrong
morning.
with the last day?
Last day, it's kind of like the first day. Things work, but there's so much planning to not put too much of this on and not too much of that on. And don't order so much so we have leftover. And what happened here? What's this all about?
I unloaded my pickup and all them tires, which rolled down really nice and all laid by each other. Out of the way and everything.
Oh, we're missing only one thing.
I'm sick.
The sun. Yeah, you are.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
I'm staying
Okay, I'm gonna
upland.
load you some seed. You get your planter out, unfold it, and block test your furrow force, and then we'll get sending it here today. So I'd be a lot more excited if it wasn't an 80 and 120 that Randy has dug, and then we also got to get the bean planter out because he's gonna dig like 40 acres, more or less test firing it. We're on hills and little fields, so we got to do something, and they're ready. Well, they're kind of ready, and we're just gonna make it work. Because when you lock 5 monkeys in a cage for this long, we're gonna push the limits now. Let's see if we can get this thing buried today. Pretty wet down in front of the seed shed, which is bringing quite concern to me. Well, we made it empty. All right, first day of anything. Remembering what you did last year. Okay, I need my seed top popper. Where do you suppose that went? Okay, we've got that. What's in here? Let's see. Well, let's see, we got plenty of talc. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you a couple different products here that I have from farmchem.com. This looks stupid easy. Greatest thing ever for opening these. It just pops that clip off, speeds it up, no nipper, takes all the plastic out. Then you get the top off. Cheap and very efficient. The other thing we do here is I take the seed tag off of there and I strap it on our seed tender here so that Dad knows when he pulls up with the planter, because I'm the guy that is always loading seed. I tie this on to the seed gate here so he knows that he's going to get 267 corn, which is a 100-day corn. We have called to sub out some of this 100-day corn because we don't think we're going to get it all planted, but we're going to get close to 200 acres of it in, so we're going to put 2 boxes in and call it good. Okay, whoa, don't break the top. Get that out of the way. Yep, it looks like corn seed. All right, this is the next device. I know I said I was going to update that seed tender. Didn't happen. Maybe next year. But this is the next best thing. I bought this. This goes in here. Let's see if I know how to run it, because I have not done this before. So oh, the box is damaged. That's nice. Okay, that should go together a lot easier than that, but the Pro Box is damaged. So this straps on. It uses a Milwaukee battery, and with this here remote, which I'm not gonna obviously open it here because we're on the cement. Open, close, gate. So I can just hoist this up over the side, open it up. The only problem is I gotta put talc in there. So I'll just climb up on the side of the trailer, better than climbing on top of the tote. And I can open it from no matter what side or location. And every operation is different, but that's how I do it. So let's get to it. See, now we got about 2,500 pounds here that I gotta try to get through the mud. And if you are interested in that or the popper thing, I got that at farmchem.com, link in the description. Save 5% using Larson 22. All right, so I gotta put this on. This lubes the planter basically. Lubes the seed so that it don't plug through all the hoses going to the row units. It is a dusty, horrible job, but it's better for me to do it than the tractor operator that has to then sit and has no sink to wash this gray matter off. Let's see if this thing works. Man, I hate that stuff. got my 2 boxes of seed loaded up. Now comes the fun job of ripping pro boxes down. I know you guys have seen this before, but we're gonna make some magic. Ew, walking in the mud. Let's shrink a pro box. Alright, I think the fires are put out for a little bit there. Stuff got exciting like it always does. Brody's going to get beans because Randy's working a couple bean fields, just the small ones, get planters set and all that. So I am going to take the corn planter out to the field. Dad is actually picking up his 1034O liquid in town, and we're gonna somewhat meet at the field. We're gonna try and get this one set and going. Then we're gonna hopefully get Brody going with soybeans. I think it's supposed to rain again tonight and maybe some more tornadic winds. So we'll see how this day goes. Just a lot going on. Not gonna get a lot done, but have a lot to do. Do we remember how to do this?
I remember how to hook a hose up.
Are you nervous? I'm so nervous, I'm just shaking.
Just gonna numb myself and go into that zone.
I think that's the hose.
Yeah, that's the planter.
An hour and a half later, we're planting. More like checking. We are checking behind the planter.
You know, this removable rubber grip on the pliers is coming in handy now.
Oh my.
Junk.
Yeah, so we're checking over the furrow force. That's the closing system. It's extremely wet dirt out here. So we're dealing with sidewall smearing, so we're trying to set the delta force, and Dad has no idea what he's doing in there again. So he's learning, and we're trying to set.
How deep are we? I don't have a ruler.
I don't know.
4 inches?
So we got our furrow force here. There was some more updates for that this year. You can see there's our seed. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. You want these teeth to be just above the seed a little bit. So right now this is an undisturbed seed, and this tooth is, I would say, perfectly at the same level. So what does that mean? That means potentially we need to take these out of the ground, which you do manually. You can adjust from the cab how hard you got this packing the air out of the soil. So right now we got 30 pounds on this. It just is really, really wet under there, which is understandable, I guess. So the other thing we need to adjust is you can put pressure down on the row units hydraulically. So we want that. We don't want chunks of mud there. You want good loose soil, but firm enough that the trench don't collapse before the closing system hits it. Because you don't want dry dirt down on your seed. So there's a lot of variables here. But I'm really liking that setting. I think that's 100 pounds. Pretty good. Really good, actually. The other thing we're looking at is the reason furrow force was designed was to destroy that V. So it kind of gives you some forgiveness to not have a highway and trench packing or V packing. but you don't want that set too deep either to disturb your soil, because it's kind of doing tillage to a certain degree. But we got beautiful spacing. I think we're going to take the furrow force out a little bit, but there's no trench here whatsoever. I mean, you can just dig. And I think this year, with all this moisture, we're going to see a big difference between this and what's happening on that side of the planter. Let's go look at that. So you remember what the furrow force looked like. You know, you don't see any of this here. Hard sidewall. It's same thing right here, very hard. Over there you don't see that, and I think that's where we're going to see the difference this year. Last year was so dry that you couldn't screw it up. It was just too, you didn't have any of these issues last year. But we won't know until harvest.
Absolutely.
Well, we might know when this stuff...
When half grows and half doesn't.
Yeah.
That'll be a very common view. Lakefront property in every field this year. Can't wait to spray around it. Hopefully it dries up, we can spray through that. We're gonna have a battle this year for any acres that don't get planted because it's too wet. Well, that's where the weeds grow when that dries up and there's no crop there to give it a canopy. Constant battle. Well, we lightened up the delta force to 90 from 100, and the sidewall looks a lot nicer. We're very happy with what it is right now in this part of the field. Obviously, conditions will change and you'll have to adjust, but we just checked. We are now in the opposite corner of the field. So it's 2 o'clock and we've got a quarter of the headlands done. Learning. Oh, nope, that's far enough. I ain't chasing that thing across the field. Good luck.
Planter should be set pretty good here. We planted out, that was old seed in the planter from last year. Maybe planted 20 acres or so. We're gonna load the 100-day now, and then I'm gonna go back to the farm with the truck because he'll have plenty, and we're gonna go get the bean planter going. Planted about 50 acres. I planted the first 35, and now we got Brody trained in here. Was a little bit of hiccups getting the planter to talk to the tractor, just some settings were wrong, but we got that all figured out and seems to be working. The seed's going down anyways, so that's always a good sign.
It's in the ground.
It's in the ground. So
it's getting awfully blue over there.
Yeah, I hope it don't rain more, but there's always that chance. Anyways, I cannot believe how quiet that this new 8R is. I mean, it's bubbling along here, 1550 RPMs at about 7 miles an hour and 50% load. So definitely got plenty of horsepower, which is always good. Once we turn the hydraulic pump on for soy green when we're in fields for that takes a little extra horsepower, but anyways, it really pulled on the 8430. So I'm gonna jump out, check some depths, and let Brody do his thing and enjoy his evening on the last 10 acres that's ready. This one is so much easier to set than that high-speed planter just because there's so many more components. Beans are pretty easy to make grow. I mean, you put them in the ground and they pretty much go. Corn's a lot more fussy on depth and sidewall smearing, very fussy. So this one was a breeze. We did have a little hiccup with the LDM egg weight distribution kit, but that was just a sensor. Since we just installed it, it wasn't set close enough to the frame, so it kept turning it off, but we fixed that. That was no big deal. Otherwise, this is one of Eric's fields. This 15 acres here is ready. Across that ditch was not. So we're just kind of getting everything turnkey ready. Tomorrow, probably won't be planting, but we got them turnkey for when it is full-blown go time. It's coming. It's coming again. I'm going home, get the seed tender home. More rain. Oh, that's sweet. Great off for about 12 hours. Had to get a little more moisture. Well, I think we're gonna end the video here, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the first planting video. And it'll only get better from here, right? See you in the next one.